One summer afternoon, a 14-year-old boy named Noah moved into the house with his mother. Noah was curious, hardworking, and loved discovering old things. As soon as he entered the house, he noticed something strange. On the wall of the hallway was an old photograph. It showed a man standing beside a young boy. The man looked serious, but the boy was smiling. Noah looked at the photograph carefully. There was something familiar with the boy, but he couldn't understand why. His mother called from another room, Noah, come and help me with these boxes. Coming. Noah took one last look at the photograph before walking away. He had no idea that the photograph was the first clue to a secret that had been discovered for almost 20 years. That evening, Noah was unpacking his books upstairs. One box was particularly heavy. He pulled it toward himself. Suddenly, crack! One of the floorboards moved. Noah stopped. He looked down. There was a small gap between two wooden boards. That's strange. He knelt down and examined it. Using a ruler, he carefully lifted the loose board. Underneath was a small metal key. Noah picked it up. On the key was a tiny number 17. He wondered what it opened. He searched the room. There was nothing. Then he noticed a small wooden door hidden behind an old curtain. Noah had never seen it before. He tried the key. Click. The door opened. Behind it was a tiny storage room. It was filled with old boxes, broken furniture, newspapers, and dusty books. Noah switched out his flashlight. He looked around. Then he noticed a wooden chest. The chest had a lock. Noah tried the key. It opened. Inside were several old photographs and letters, but at the bottom of the chest was something different. A black notebook. On its cover were 3 words, read only if ready. Noah stared at it. He felt a strange excitement. He slowly opened the notebook. The first page contained only one sentence. If you have found this notebook, the secret has finally found you. Noah swallowed. What secret? He turned the page. The notebook belonged to a man named Daniel Carter. Daniel had lived in the house many years earlier. His first entry said, "My name is Daniel. If you are reading this, you probably live in the house now. I don't know who you are, but I hope you are someone who believes that doing the right thing matters." Noah continued reading. Daniel wrote about his life. He had grown up poor. His father had been a gardener. His mother had worked in a small bakery. Daniel had always dreamed of becoming a teacher. But his life had changed when he discovered something important. The next page had a warning. Never trust a person who tells you that money is more important than people. Noah frowned. What does that mean? He continued. Daniel mentioned a businessman named Victor Hale. Victor was one of the richest men in the town. According to Daniel, Victor had promised to build a community school. But something had gone wrong. Daniel had discovered that money intended for the school had disappeared. He had tried to find out where it went. Then he discovered documents proving that someone had stolen the money. Noah's eyes winded. This is serious. But there was something even more mysterious. Daniel wrote, "I know who did it, but I cannot reveal the name yet." Noah turned the page. The next pages had been torn out. The next morning, Noah told his best friend Sam about the notebook. Sam was amazed. "You found this inside your house?" "Yes. Are you sure it's real?" Noah showed him the textbook. Sam read the first few pages. "This sounds like a mystery." "It is. What are we going to do now?" Noah smiled. "We find out what happened." They spent the afternoon searching the old house. They discovered several photographs. One showed Daniel standing beside Victor Hale. Another showed Daniel with a group of children. On the back of the photograph was written, "The reason I refuse to give up." Noah recognized some of the children. They were from an old photograph displayed in the town library. The children had attended a small community center that had later closed. Noah and Sam went to the library. They found old newspaper from 20 years ago. One headline caught Noah's attention. The article said that the project had failed because the funding had disappeared. Daniel Carter had been blamed for mismanaging the money. Noah couldn't believe it. That doesn't match the notebook, Sam nodded. Maybe Daniel had blamed for something he didn't do. Noah looked at the newspaper again. There was a photograph of Daniel. Under it were the words, "Former project manager Daniel Carter denies wrongdoing." Noah felt angry. Everyone thought he was guilty. Maybe he wasn't. That night, Noah returned to the hidden room. He read the notebook again. Near the back was a strange drawing. It showed a tree. Under the tree was a number 7. Noah remembered the old garden. There was one large tree standing alone near the wall. He grabbed a flashlight and went outside. The moon was shining above the garden. Noah walked toward the tree. He searched around its roots. Nothing. Then he noticed a small stone with the same symbol as the notebook. He moved it. Underneath was a metal box. Noah opened it. Inside was an envelope. The envelope contained a letter. It was written by Daniel. The letter said, "The truth is not inside the house. It is where people gather and where nobody thinks to look." Noah thought carefully. Where people gather. Sam suggested the town hall. Noah shook his head. Maybe. They went to the town hall the next day. The building contained old records from 20 years ago. After searching for hours, they found the original school project documents. One document had been altered. A large amount of money had been transferred from the school fund into a private company. The company's owner was Victor Hale. Noah stared at the paper. "We found it, but there was a problem. The document was only a copy. They needed the original." As Noah and Sam left the town hall, an elderly woman stopped them. "You are looking for Daniel Cartier." Noah froze. "How do you know?" The woman smiled. "My name is Mrs. Wilson. I knew Daniel." "Did he steal the school money?" "No." Ryan. Noah looked surprised. "Then what happened?" Mrs. Wilson looked around before speaking. "Daniel discovered that someone powerful had taken the money." "Victor Hale?" Mrs. Wilson nodded. "He tried to expose him, but Daniel didn't have enough evidence." "What happened to Daniel?" Mrs. Wilson sighed. "He left town." "Why?" "Because he was afraid that nobody would believe him." Noah looked at the notebook. "Why did he leave the notebook?" Mrs. Wilson smiled sadly. "Because Daniel believed that someday someone honest would find it." She gave Noah an old photograph. "Look at the back." Noah turned it over. There was a message. "The final answer is hidden where the first promise was made." Noah thought about it. The school. Mrs. Wilson nodded. The old school building stood on the edge of town. It had been abandoned for years. Noah, Sam, and Mrs. Wilson went there. The building was covered in dust. Old desks were still inside the classrooms. On the wall was a faded drawing made by children. Noah noticed something. The drawing showed a tree, the same tree from Daniel's notebook. Noah looked underneath the drawing. There was a loose brick. He carefully pulled it out. Inside was a small envelope. But this time there was no letter. There was a key. Attached to it was a note. Room 17. Noah remembered the number on the first key. They searched the school. Finally, they found room 17. The door was locked. Noah inserted the key. Click. The room opened. Inside was an old filing cabinet. Noah opened the drawers. Most were empty, but one contained a large brown folder. Inside was the original financial record. Noah's hand shook. This was the evidence they needed. But there was another document. It was signed by Victor Hale. It showed that the money had been transferred to his private company. Daniel had been telling the truth. Noah returned home and read the final pages of the notebook. Daniel had written, "I have enough evidence now, but I cannot fight Victor alone. I need people to believe me." The next page said, "If you found this notebook, don't use the truth for revenge. Use it to help the people who were hurt." Noah paused. He understood. Daniel wasn't interested in destroying Victor Hale. He wanted the school to be built. Noah decided to tell the town. But there wasn't one problem. Victor Hale was still one of the most respected businessmen in the Greenfield. Nobody would easily believe a teenager. Noah took the evidence to the town council. At first, they laughed. "You found this in an old house?" "Yes. And you think this proves Victor Hale stole the money 20 years ago?" Noah placed the original document on the table. The room became silent. An official examined it carefully. The signature. He looked at another document. It matches. The council began investigating. Soon more records were discovered. The evidence confirmed that the school money had been transferred illegally. Victor Hale arrived at the council meeting. He was an old man now. He looked confident. "You are making a serious mistake," he said. Noah stood quietly. Victor looked at him. "Young man, you don't understand how complicated business can be." Noah replied, "Maybe I don't understand business, but I understand right and wrong." The room became silent. Victor pointed toward the notebook. "That old notebook means nothing." Noah opened it. "You are right," Victor smiled, "but the documents do." Noah placed the original records on the table. Victor's expression changed. The council members examined the papers. Mrs. Wilson stood up. "I remember what happened." She told everyone how Daniel had tried to expose the missing money. Then another elderly man spoke. "I worked at the town hall back then. I remember receiving instructions to remove certain documents. One by one, people began remembering what had happened. Victor could no longer deny everything. The truth that had been hidden for 20 years was finally coming out. A few days later, Noah received a letter. It was from Daniel Cartier. He was alive. He had been living in another city for many years. The letter said, "I heard that someone found my notebook." Noah smiled. Daniel explained that he had left Greenfield because he was disappointed that people had refused to listen. But he never forgot the children. He had continued working as a teacher. He had spent his life helping poor children get an education. At the end of the letter, Daniel wrote, "I didn't leave the notebook because I wanted someone to find my story. I left it because I wanted someone to continue the work." Noah didn't fully understand until he read the last sentence. A secret is not truly valuable when it is discovered. It becomes valuable when it is used to make someone's life better. The town decided to rebuild the community school. People donated books, builders volunteered their times, local shopkeepers donated supplies. The project that had failed 20 years earlier finally began again. Noah helped every weekend. Sam helped too. Mrs. Wilson visited the construction site often. Months later, the school was completed. On the opening of the day, hundreds of people gathered. There was a large sign above the entrance, the Daniel Cartier Community School. Noah stood quietly outside. Mrs. Wilson walked toward him. "You look happy." "I am." "Do you still have the notebook?" Noah smiled. "Yes." "Are you going to keep it secret?" Noah thought for a moment. "No." Mrs. Wilson looked surprised. Noah opened the notebook. "I think its secret has already done what it was supposed to do." That evening, Noah sat in his room. He opened the notebook one final time. There was one blank page left. Noah picked up a pen. He thought about Daniel. He thought about the children. He thought about the school. Then he wrote, My name is Noah. I found this notebook when I was 14 years old. I thought I had discovered a secret, but I learned that the greatest secret aren't about hidden money or forgotten documents. They are about the choices people make when nobody is watching. He continued writing. Daniel believed that one honest person could make a difference. Noah stopped. Then he added, He was right. He closed the notebook, but before putting it away, Noah noticed something written on the inside of the back cover. He had never seen it before. It said, If you have reached this page, you are ready to write your own chapter. Noah smiled. He opened the notebook again and started writing. The truth may sometimes remain hidden for years, but honesty and courage can eventually bring it into the light. True success is not about becoming rich or powerful. It is about using what you have to help others. A single honest person can inspire an entire community to make a difference.